Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, head currency analyst. In this video, we're going to take a look at the week ahead. We're going to highlight some of the news coming up this week, as well as some charts of interest. So looking at the news, I think the main topics that we should be talking about or highlighting here really is the three speeches by the central bank speakers. We've got, or the governors I should say, we've got the Bank of England Governor Bailey speaking, which is very interesting to market participants this week, to the fact that the Bank of England last week hiked rates to 5%. It was a 50 basis points move, and the Bank of England governor has talked about seeing rates near 5.75% to 6%. So is Governor Bailey going to continue to push that hawkish rhetoric in the UK, and how will the markets take that information? The Bank of Japan Governor Ueda is set to speak as well. Now, Bank of Japan have had some murmurs in the background that there could be an intervention happening because of the devaluation of the Japanese yen. So the Bank of Japan potentially looking to intervene here, and it will be interesting to see what Governor Ueda comments are. Now, we have seen some reports that around about $145 yen prices where we could see some interventions. 145.50, however, is the main level of interest for us, which we'll take a look at in a moment. But prices being driven up really by the lack of action by the Bank of Japan and the action from the Federal Reserve hiking interest rates further. Now, Federal Reserve Chairman Powell is also set to speak this week. Again, another hawkish tone this week or last week out of the chairman of the Federal Reserve, who talked about seeing rates beyond the 5.25% that they're at the moment, despite their inflation rates coming down quite significantly. They still see there is some sticky inflation elsewhere, and they're looking to bring rates higher to try and shut the inflation move down. Over the weekend as well, we've actually had some interesting developments. Russia has experienced a shocking turn of events as a military coup has taken place, causing some turmoil in the country. The Wagner Group, led by Prigozhin, stormed into Moscow, leading to the fleeing of President Vladimir Putin. And this is a very unexpected development, and is a development that's, or the situation that is going to develop over the next couple of days. I'm speaking to you on the Saturday as I'm recording this for the week ahead, but by that time the situation may have either escalated or de-escalated by the time you are listening to this. So we'll see if that has any impact on the markets, and will it change or will it see any kind of rush to any kind of safe haven asset? Maybe gold could benefit from the back of this news. So definitely something just to keep in the background. I didn't really want to feature it as a main post because it is a developing situation here. Hey traders, your professional trade station awaits. Yes, that is right. Blueberry Markets are giving away a professional trading setup. To apply, capture your current trading setup, post it to social media, tag in Blueberry Markets, and remember, terms and conditions apply. Strength meter, no real changes. Yen still weak, CAD still strong, so there's nothing really to discuss there. Obviously, CPI out of Canada this week could continue to keep CAD strong, but we'll see how that one plays out. Going on to the dollar index then, so price has traded back above the 102s. We're at the 103s now. We've closed below the 103 resistance, so still need to wait here really. Is the dollar currency the currency of play really at the moment? And it's probably not. The yen has probably been the one to really watch out for, but we'll see how price rejects here. Do we get a breakout and a continuation to the upside, or do we reject and do we see price trade back lower? I think safer sort of side of things would be to wait to see one or the other happen, just to wait for that confirmation in the US. But Federal Reserve Chairman Powell's hawkish comments could lead some further investment into the dollar, and we could see dollar move higher. That leads on to dollar yen then. So yen obviously a very weak currency at the moment. You know, considering the fact that the dollar has actually fallen recently, dollar yen has continued to trade higher, just showing us how weak the Japanese yen is and why we're probably going to see an intervention from the Bank of Japan. 145.50 is the level I've got pointed at the moment. It does kind of keep in the 145 as well, and the 145.75 above that. So we'll see what happens there, but that looks like the likely area for price to go to next before any kind of either an intervention happens or any kind of breakouts to the upside. So it'll be interesting to see how the Bank of Japan see this, and we'll be watching 𝖥𝖣yi's comments very closely. Going on to Aussie then. So Aussie's actually really underperformed this week. The Australian dollar came into versus the US dollar came into the 0.69 handle and rejected pretty much straight away into the close of the last week, and then the previous week, and then last week we saw an aggressive move to the downside. So is that going to continue? And if it does, where could we see prices? Well, price could come down to the 65.75 or even below that towards the 0.64. Finally then, gold. I am featuring gold. Obviously we've broken to the downside, broken that 1950 handle. Now we're trading lower. Is that dollar pressure going to see price come down to the 1890 handle? There's a good potential for that. Just want to keep this one up as well due to the fact of the developments in Russia. If it does escalate, will investors or market participants really want to shift some capital into gold, and will that see gold prices rally again? Something just to consider in the background here. Maybe a push into the 1890 could see some buying pressure coming in on gold. We could see a little short-term bounce there. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, all these situations developing is an interesting one to keep our eyes on. Targeting really the speeches by the 3 central bank speakers this week as our volatility indicator. So thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to see some more Forex trading content. And I'll speak to you in the next video.